What is good? We're back. We have an updated rookie mock Superflex tight end premium for your pleasure. Got a full tripod tonight. Got my man Chev. What's up, man?
You know me, brother. Any day on this side of the dirt's a good one.
That's right. And we got the OG, Austin Abbott, back in the house, fresh in tank top mode. What's up, man?
What's up, dude? It's been a minute, but just been busy, but a good busy, you know?
Yeah. It's that time of year, man. Come up for air every once in a while and then right back down in there. So we got a Superflex tight end premium Dynasty rookie mock here for your pleasure. We're going to do 4 rounds. We'll run through the first round and then we'll circle back and talk about it. So I had the 101. I took Genty. Chev, you're up at the 102.
Marion Hampton.
All right, we got Hampton at 2. At 103, who you got, Austin?
Quinshon Judkins.
How much time we got to circle back on that? 104, I'm going Cam Ward. 105, Chev, who you got?
TreVeyon Henderson.
TreVeyon Henderson at the 105. 106.
I'm going McMillan here.
Tet McMillan. Whew, the comments are already in an uproar. There's no Travis Hunter off the board. What is happening? At the 107, I will oblige. I will take Travis Hunter. At the 108, who you taking, Chev?
Tyler Warren.
Tyler Warren off the board at 108. 109, Austin, who you got?
I'm going to go with Colston Loveland here.
All right, so back-to-back tight ends. 110, I will go Kaleb Johnson at the 110. At the 111, Chev, back to you.
RJ Harvey.
RJ Harvey, all right. And 112, any more surprises for us in the first round here, Mr. Abbott?
We're going to go with Emeka Egbuka to round out the first round here.
All right. I like it. So I think, first 2 are chalk. I took Genty. Chev, any thought process there beyond Hampton at 2? Were you thinking about anything else, or is 2 locked in for you?
2's pretty much locked in for me. I've been really high on Marion Hampton throughout the process. He gets the first round draft capital. He goes to a place where they're known to establish it with Jim Harbaugh. Khakis, for those of you trying to differentiate between the Harbaughs. So, yeah, I'm team of Marion Hampton, even if it doesn't hit in the way that we want it to immediately. I believe he's going to be a top 5 to 6 option before long.
Yeah, I like it. I can't argue with it too much there. All right. We got the 103. Austin, you go Quinshon Judkins. It's been a minute since we've talked. What makes you want to take Judkins ahead of all of the other players in the first round?
Oh, man, I love Quinshon Judkins. I liked him a lot in the process, right? And then the draft capital just confirmed it. Do you like early production, Casey? Yeah, right? Consistency, whether it's dominating at a big school, the size. There's so many boxes that Quinshon Judkins checks, right? And he's got huge shoes to fill based off of what Nick Chubb was able to replicate really over the past, 5+ seasons. Man, I think he's the type of guy you want to plug right into that system. I mean, I think he's got the speed too, right? We saw him at 22 miles an hour against Kentucky, right? I know he got tracked down in the championship game. I think it was the 1 yard line. Man, he's so darn good. He's had 798 career touches, right? That's 19 per game. He didn't miss a single game in college, right? Not a lot of people even know that or talk about that, right? The durability was there. The volume was there. 50 career touchdowns in 42 starts. I love Judkins so much, man.
Yeah, I know. My man Chev up there is excited too. He's a big Judkins guy. So you're okay with that? You like Judkins at 3?
I mean, listen, we can't judge. Okay. It could be, we don't know who's going to throw forward passes for this football team. And that could be an issue. But I don't care. Quinshon Judkins, I said it before, I said it again. Like Casey, Austin just said all the things that I'm thinking. I love it here. I think it's going to get better. It's going to be better than people give it credit for because they got a guy back there that just makes me want to use power tools when I watch him play football. So, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 1-3. Let's stamp it. Let's be aggressive about it.
Right. Well, here's the thing, man. We've been now through several rookie drafts. People have seen things. I'm sure not too many people have seen Judkins go 1-3 in a lot of their rookie drafts, but really at the end of the day, that's how fun this first round is right here, because I can't be like, oh, that's a dumb pick anywhere. You could squeeze, say, hey, maybe that's not the value pick right there of, if we're making picks and you want Judkins, maybe you do trade back 2 or 3 spots, micro transactions, seeing what you can. Doesn't even need to be a whole lot. If Judkins is your guy and you can move it back to 1.5, 1.6, you're probably most likely getting Judkins, or Judkins just your guy and you take your fucking guy, right? So, I ain't mad at it. So everybody's on board with saying Hunter probably not going in the top 3 for you guys. Austin, it's been a minute since we've had you on, so I'll give you the floor.
Yeah, I promise you I'm going to get yelled at in the comments, man. I'm notably lower on Travis Hunter, and it's okay, right? We'll see how things pan out, right? Long, Dynasty's a long game, man, right?
Right.
But right now, I am lower on Travis Hunter than consensus.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Go ahead, Jeff.
We're all of the same mind where it's like, hey, let's just exercise some caution. Let's see what it looks like. I want, he's going to a place with a bona fide target hog, like an alpha number 1. Let's just see what it looks like. And if you sucked enough to get the 103 and then he doesn't provide you with, the value that the 1.3 or the 1.4 that that represents, then you're going to be trying to sell for pennies on the dollar because everybody's playing, microwave, thermostat, thermometer, not a thermostat, like no patience whatsoever. So you're giving up, you're giving up on a guy that you were real high on. Everybody's, throwing out like generational comps, like, oh, this is Odell Beckham 2.0. His reception perception was the best since blah, blah, blah. Like, let's just let it play out a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to be super aggressive. Like, you can take, that's a home run swing. Whereas if you sucked, you just need to be making sure that guy doesn't miss, and he's still probably going to return value for you. That's kind of the sentiment that we've echoed for, since the draft.
Right. And I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it, but yeah, I'm of the same mindset of all you guys there. I'm probably Hunter lower than consensus, and we've been seeing Hunter in practice as strictly wide receiver, and then, oh man, a logical comment came out from the GM and the coach saying we need a longer look at him at wide receiver. So we're going to see him play this position a little more throughout the summer. Right. And so, for me, I just need more information before I'm ready to put him all the way up at that top and suggest that you take the big home run cut. Again, you can do whatever you want in this first round. You can chop this first round up any way you see it. And I don't really have too much of a problem with it. For me, I'd play Hunter a little more cautiously, and I'm okay with paying more on the back end for it. Right. But I could tell you that there's probably not a world where Hunter comes out and absolutely is untouchable through the first 8 weeks of the season, unless it's absolutely just gangbusters. Because some people will get real scared real quick when it's not what they thought it was, and you kind of touched on that a little bit, Chev. So we'll see what happens through August, where he is, how much wide receiver he's playing, how much D-back he's playing. And that's the part that always messes me up through this whole thing. The Jags have to figure it out. It's also, what does Travis want to do? Like, he's explicitly said he wants to play both sides of the ball. So where does that lie with the player? This is not something that anybody else has ever really had to deal with all that often, right? And for a team like the Jags to come have to figure that out is at a new everything, right? It's not a stable coaching. It's not like Bill Belichick just took over, right. or Travis Hunter went to New England with Bill Belichick, where just using that as, hey, that's a bedrock foundation that everybody knows this is what it is and this is how it goes, right? So, just some things to think about there. So I'm with it. Let's keep it moving here. 1-4, I took Ward.
Looking for more FFD? Get access to our proprietary ADP, our dynasty rankings, the rookie draft kit, and extra shows every single week. Head over to patreon.com/the FF Dynasty and hit us with that $5 holler.
It's super flex. I really like Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward's going to be a very solid player. And all we've been seeing is Cam Ward's value go up in startups. I think people are getting more and more comfortable with Cam Ward. And what has made me even more comfortable with Cam Ward, the longer and longer I do this, the person matters so much more. And you're just seeing more and more of who Cam Ward is. He's got the cocky gamesmanship, good attitude that you want from a competitor, but he also just seems like he's really about it, wants to put the work in, and an overall just a good human being. And those things I feel like are in a quarterback especially are the things that I want to see. So I really like Cam Ward. So I went with Cam Ward at 104. I could have went with Tet there and not had too much of a problem with it, but I went with Cam Ward. Anybody disagree with Cam Ward at 104?
That's the tier. That's the tier that he belongs in, right? And if you want to put Tet just above him or just below him, dude, doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, gotcha. Chev, you're at 105. You took Hendo. This is I don't know if I've seen you this high on Henderson, or am I tripping here?
I'm not anti Henderson. I wanted him to go to a place where I could see a plan for how he was going to be used, because I don't think that he's a traditional, whereas I feel like you're going to hand the ball, like Austin alluded to it earlier, you're going to hand the ball to Quinshon. He handled 19 touches a game in college and did not miss a single game. Whereas we've got a bit of, nagging injury history with TreVeyon Henderson. So now he goes to a place where they're going to be able to, like, McDaniels, for all of his flaws as a head coach, is a great play caller. He's going to scheme it up. You've seen him use backs in the passing game. This would be the 99 overall version of a guy like Danny Woodhead, Kevin Falk, if you want to go way, way back. The Shane Vereen.
Vereen, James White.
He can do all that.
Yeah.
And he's the best pass blocker in the class. So he's going to find his way on the football field. I said it on the live stream on Monday, 667 career touches, no fumbles.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how you ingratiate yourself with Mike Vrabel.
100%.
Do the dirty work, do all the things, like be good at your job, but then be excellent at the details of your job. So I think TreVeyon Henderson is going to make a mark sooner than later. It may not hit immediately, much in the way of Marion Hampton, but we're still going to see he's going to have some explosive plays. I don't like it when people compare him to Gibbs, because that's a whole different level, and you're setting yourself up for failure with your expectations. But I mean, he could be, on a week-to-week basis, he could win you weeks very easily on limited efficiency. Yeah. Limited touches with great efficiency, rather.
Right. And that's the part that I would go with Gibbs. Not how he plays, not what he does, how he could be used to be effective and score points for your fantasy team, because he is, can be, hyper
efficient.
Thank you. He could be hyper efficient there. And in doing so, he's not going to lose a lot of value, because the fantasy community is going to see that he's going to be a wow highlight kind of guy when it goes. And so people are automatically going to be enamored with that. As silly as it sounds, like those are things that can matter in a public perception. So I think his value will stay strong, even though maybe he's not, because I do think Ramondre is going to get plenty of run as long as he's not fumbling the ball all over the place. Right. I think they will use two guys. So I'm with it. I like Hendo there. What would you do at 5? You taking Henderson, Austin?
Yeah, that's exactly where I have him in my rankings, man. Between the 4.43 speed, the only running back in college football this year to hit 7 yards per carry, 1,000+ rushing yards, 250+ receiving yards, right? Like that in itself just shows us that he was not only efficient, he was productive, right? He can catch passes, lands in a great spot, like Chev was alluding to. Dominated right out of the gate as a 19-year-old freshman at Ohio State against some of the best collegiate defenses, right, in the nation. I mean, come on, he's got size. I kind of get Breece Hall vibes in a way, right? Got the draft capital. Come on, man. How are you not in on TreVeyon Henderson? You know?
I don't know. I like him. We're really spoiled here. I think with the first round, there's not a lot of picks that I really hate. At the 106, this is certainly a player that I was kind of getting a little cold on, and I've really warmed up to Tetairoa McMillan. I really like Tet now with this landing spot, and I've gotten super kind of oddly bullish on him. So, Austin, what were you thinking there at 106? It seems like the layup pick for me, but
yeah, Tet is. Casey, I'm actually right there with you. I got a little bit of cold feet for like a few weeks. Like there's probably a month ago. I don't know what it was. We saw the draft capital and I was like, okay, 8th overall. Sure, they traded up last year, 32nd overall to go land who they thought was going to be their wide receiver 1 in Leggett. Now they just told us, the 8th overall pick, man, they are not messing around with Tet. They wanted to make sure they got him. Again, like we've stressed prospect fatigue, right? That's something that we hear kind of often with him, right? It feels like the community's got a little bit lower, but I do think that a lot of people are starting to get back in on him. 73.1% success rate versus press coverage. That's 80 in the 80th percentile, a really good number right there. 81st percentile success rate versus zone coverage. 70.4 percentile success rate versus man coverage. Really good marks across the board, man. Right? We love the size. We love the back-to-back seasons of 1,300 plus yards. Now he's not a perfect prospect. Actually, funny enough, and I'll end on this note. I ran into Tet at the combine, and man, like he's not. I got a little. That's probably why I got called V Casey, because he did not look 6'4", 219 to me, man. Like I'm 5'10", 170, and I'm standing next to him like, yo, this guy's not that much bigger than me. And I was like, do I draft you right now? No, I didn't say that to him, but we just said what's up and went our separate ways. But dude, he was thin, Casey. He was thin, and you know me. I'm king sizest over here, right? If you're not 6'5", 230, I don't want you on my team. So
stay true to form at the Judkins pick. All right, Chev, quick thoughts on McMillan, and we'll keep it moving.
I mean, I think we all suffer from a little bit of prospect fatigue. I mean, I had to do his evaluation for another draft guide that I worked on. So I saw what made him special, but I also saw some things that would cause issues at the next level. But I mean, he's walking into an opportunity to figure it out on the job and be, the leader, target commander, whatever you want to call him in that Panthers offense. So that's why I kind of steamed him up, because you obviously see the things that make him special. Those pop out immediately. The size, the ball tracking, the catch point, like the excellence at the catch point. So yeah, now with that landing spot, I'm a little bit more bullish than I was initially.
Yeah. All right, 107. I took Travis Hunter. We've kind of talked about it already. This is probably the lowest. People see him going in a lot of spots, but I see plenty of FFPCs when we were doing it. That 5, 6, 7, 8. He was in those spots. Of course, people come out of the woodwork and say, "No way, he's got to be 2 or 3." But all of us, I think this is a comfortable spot for Hunter. Does everybody kind of agree this is Hunter territory here after McMillan, or what do we think?
Yeah, man. Yeah, in my 8 years of playing Dynasty, without question, I don't know if there's ever been a more difficult evaluation for me on a singular prospect, right? Like, you can call him generational. You could call him even polarizing to a degree, game-changing. Like, these are just some of the terms that I've heard about Travis Hunter. Casey, what worries me most here is I think he's a better corner. I've been vocal regarding that. I've been saying that for months, and it doesn't mean that he's not a very good wide receiver. I just think he's a better corner, and that's just my opinion. But it's reassuring, and it's very nice to see him take basically all his snaps as a wide receiver so far. Right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. No. Like I said, right? they've said that they want to see more from the wide receiver because they know less about the wide receiver, and also you're not allowed to have that opinion. Just in case you're wondering, the comments are going to let you know that.
Okay.
All right, let's keep it moving. Chev, you took Tyler Warren at 108. I think with a better landing spot, we could have seen Warren in the top 4, where people were real excited about. Still plenty excited, but it is certainly a little bit of a it may be a little frustrating year one, but man, the thing is he's already propelled himself value-wise into dynasty wide receiver, dynasty tight end 3 or 4 in almost every startup draft that I see happening. So value very insulated. I'm okay waiting a season to see how this quarterback situation pans out. And then if the quarterback situation doesn't pan out, everybody's probably gone and something new starts there coaching wise and whatnot. So it's either, hey, we figured it out and things are going well, or the whole thing's getting blown up and we're moving in another direction. So
yes, sir. That's exactly what I'm banking on. And I'm banking on the fact that he's a football player that you just get the ball. You figure out how to get him the ball as much as humanly possible, and he makes you right. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what Penn State did. That's what you see time and time again in his tape. I know people are going to say, well, he didn't play until he's a fifth-year breakout and Dalton Kincaid wasn't good and he was a fifth-year break. I don't give a flying fuck. Watch him play football. He's an excellent football player, and it's going to work. You might have to exercise a little bit of patience, or fuck it. He might come out and catch 100 balls this year.
Yeah, for real.
There's no, the talent is there, and that's what we're banking on here. That's what I'm banking on. And so, yeah, I took Tyler Warren here, and I'm really excited about it because, again, like you said, no offense, Austin, because I know you're a Colts fan, but you want this to happen, so never mind. Yeah, they sucked this year, and everybody's gone, and now, we've got somebody who can throw forward passes well and not throw it to the other team or tap themselves out at quarterback, and then you got Tyler Warren, a giant target who can dominate all parts of the field. And now you've got him at the 1-8, and he's probably the tight end 3 in Dynasty.
Yeah. Yeah. You want a quick weigh in here before we move on to the next pick, Austin?
I'm just offended, man. I think we're going 17-0 next year. So just my 2 cents. And Tyler Warren, future Hall of Famer, better than Brock Bowers. No, but on a serious note, man, I really agree with basically everything you said. I'm genuinely curious to see how much, the passing of Jim Irsay impacts the franchise, like how that alters some of the directions, or just, I'm talking like their front office, right? Yeah. Whether it's their head coach, the GM, Chris Ballard, right? I know that they had a really good relationship, Ballard and Jim Irsay. So maybe Ballard is actually on thin ice. We've thought that for about 9 years in a row, and maybe he finally is. So we'll see, man, because obviously Ballard's drafted basically everybody on the Indianapolis Colts, especially Anthony Richardson. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how the Colts' future changes with the passing of Jim Irsay. I think it's going to be drastic. That's
a great point, dude. That's an excellent point.
Yeah. At 109, you take the next tight end, Austin. You go Colston Loveland. Again, just an awesome prospect in an awesome situation. And that's basically what you're banking on here, or what's your thought process?
Yeah. I mean, don't overthink it, right? Top 10 pick, right? And if there's people who actually still like Caleb Williams out there, I know it seems like nobody does, but I
love him.
I know, but you're the only one, Casey.
Jeff likes him.
I know. No, it's just funny how everybody was infatuated with him, and then here we are 12 months later. It's like Caleb Williams, ew, I don't want any part of him. But former first overall pick, now gets top 10 pick in Colston Loveland. He's got the size, 6'6", 248. Broke out early, unlike somebody else that we just talked about. Dev, I'm just playing, man. But I love to see the target share, right? The high target share for Colston Loveland at Michigan, right? I thought that was telling. He's just a mismatch, man. I have Loveland one spot above Warren in my rankings. They're in the same tier. Right now, Colston Loveland is my Dynasty tight end 4. At a little too bullish. Where are you guys at on him?
I'm probably Warren at 3 or 4, and then Loveland probably not too far behind him. I mean, just
you prefer Warren?
I do. Yes.
Okay.
That would be in the same tier. They'd be in the same tier for me. Like that's the thing, is that they're gonna be linked for the entirety of their careers. Like, we took this guy at 10, we took this guy at 14. Whichever one breaks out first, probably gonna be Colston Loveland. Mm-hmm. Whichever one breaks out first and be like, see, that's why he's the better one, and then the other one's gonna do some really cool stuff. So I've got them in the same tier. I don't really, however the draft falls, if one of them falls to me, like, that's fine. I don't have a strong lean on either one now. I was huge Tyler Warren guy, like Tyler Warren, tight end 1, then everyone else. But now it's more so like, all right, these two are here. I had to really do some soul searching on Colston Loveland. So I'm there now. And I just finished, part of it could be I just finished watching the Bears, like their draft wrap up thing, and how much they were alluding to having a plan for him and how his versatility and how he can line up and all that. Like, so yeah, like that combined with the fact that he's in a much better, offensive ecosystem, have them in the same tier for me.
And I want to add on on one final note here. It's Ben Johnson, right? The head coach of the Chicago Bears. I'm sure you guys have heard this, right? Of course, Sam Laporta had such an incredible rookie campaign, tight end 1 overall during his rookie season when Ben Johnson was the offensive coordinator with the Lions, right? So I just would like to believe that Loveland is at least a better prospect than Laporta.
Yes.
And I like Laporta a lot as a prospect, but I think that's a pretty fair statement to make.
Yeah.
So it just gets me excited, especially when, you got Kaleb. I think that there's a world that exists where he could literally be a top 5 tight end this season in a redraft. I'm not saying I'd put money on it, but I think the ceiling is there right out of the gate, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it.
How would you like it if we paid your 2025 league entry fee? All you have to do is submit proof of a 5-star review from Spotify and or iTunes, click the link, and fill out the entry form. Multiple entries allowed. In fact, come into your friend's phone to quadruple your chances to win. Each losing entry will automatically roll over to the next most contest, all for your pleasure.
All right. At 110, I take Kaleb Johnson. He's my second favorite running back in this class. I know I don't have to take him high, so I get the luxury of taking him at the 110 here. I think he's great. I think the fit's great. I think the landing spot's great. I think he's great. So this was an easy pick for me. Although I do really like RJ Harvey. So that does, make it a little tricky there of hey, I know RJ Harvey's going to probably come out here and catch a lot of balls this year. It's close, but I like Kaleb Johnson there. So I took Johnson at 111. Chev, you took RJ Harvey. I think that's a pretty easy pick right there for me.
Easy. Do I need to elaborate on why it's a great pick at 111?
I mean, up to you, but I think we're good. But
yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we got the Sean Payton handpick back, right? And PPR heaven should be, pretty easy layup to a minimum of 50 targets year one, right?
Yeah, bare minimum 50 targets.
Right.
Broncos pass catchers caught 81 passes last year. Not 81 targets, caught 81 passes.
Yeah, running backs.
Yeah, running backs.
Right. All right. So at finishing up round 1, Austin, you took Egbuka. I know he was high on your chart throughout the whole process. Gets in a little bit of a weird situation here year 1, but I mean, there really is a path right away for him to just be on the field day 1 and catching passes.
Yeah. I mean, you said it best, man. Whether it's running various routes, separating on command, right? A great run blocker, basically leading Ohio State in all the big categories, which is so bizarre and hard to believe, but it is true, right? First all time in receptions and receiving yards. Now 7th in touchdowns, but when you think about the great Ohio State wide receivers, and Egbuka is at the top. Granted, you can yell at me in the comments and say he played more football. I get it, but at the end of the day, man, he's still number 1, and you can't take that away from him. I just feel so safe with him. I think his floor is obviously high, and I'm on board with that, man. But I don't like the narrative that his ceiling isn't quite that high. I kind of think people are wrong regarding that. I think Egbuka does have a very high ceiling. He's just so smart, well-spoken. There's a lot to like. I kind of want to see his usage or the way that he's utilized. I want to see that change. I hope his ADOT improves. It was 7.9 last year. Just, man, I want to see him stretch out the field a little bit more,
Yeah, I mean, I think you could be, depending on Godwin's health, and there's a lot of question marks there, right? We've talked about it a bunch, Chev. Evans is old. We've seen hamstring issues. Godwin's coming off an injury, right? They moved Godwin back into the slot this past year, so we could see Egbuka and Godwin just as completely movable pieces to be inside and out and do different things. So yeah, I don't mind it at all, man. I think we're in a really good position, even turning the corner here into this second round. From 2-1 to 2-5, 2-6, 2-7, it's still a bunch of really good picks, and even the back end of the second's good. So with that note, let's jump into the second round. All right, so at the 2-1, I was up. I took my guy Luther Burden. Been my guy from the jump, much like Egbuka was Austin's guy. Burden's my guy. Went 2-1 here. There's a debate here on who you could be doing at the 2-1, but Chev, who'd you take at the 2-2?
2-2 Jackson Dart. So first round draft capital goes to the Giants. Now, this is another situation, kind of like we mentioned with the Colts, where we could be dealing with an entirely new organization going into 2026, coach, GM, all that, clean house. But for now, he's supposed to sit, but I'm going to bet on the first round talent that I'm getting in the second round. And, he does have a perceived rushing floor. He rushed for over 600 yards last year in college. So Jackson Dart right here feels like a very safe pick in terms of value insulation, at least.
Yeah. All right. 2-3. Who you got, Austin?
2-3, Matthew Golden.
Matthew Golden off the board. 2-4. I'm going to go Trey Harris here. 2-5. Chev, who you got?
This one felt good. Now, I was a little upset that you took Jaden Higgins, but Jaden Higgins.
All right. 205. We got Jaden Higgins. 206. Austin. What you got?
2-6. Give me Jalen Royals.
He had a smoker in the first round. He's got a hot one in the second round. All right. At 207, this was a tricky spot. There's a lot of people I like kind of right here. But I went Arroyo at the 207. At the 208, Chev, who'd you go with?
Our man, Kyle Williams.
Shout out, Matt Kelly. 209, who you got, Austin?
Bashal Tootin.
Ooh, Tootin. 210, I'm taking Tyler Shuck. 211, who you got, Chev?
I'm taking Terrence Ferguson here.
I'm interested to get back to that one. Then the 212, Austin, who you finishing the second round out with?
This one felt good, man. Jalen Noel.
All right. So Jalen Noel wraps up the second round there. Again, we just got through the second round. A lot of really good picks. I think through the first 1 through 5 or so, I think those guys are fairly locked in whatever order you want to take them in, where it's Burden, Dart, Golden, Harris, and Higgins. I think that's pretty standard chalk throughout almost every draft that I've seen so far. It's just a matter of which order you want to take them. I went with Burden, you went with Dart, and then you took Golden there at 3, Austin. Where would you have taken Golden had you had the opportunity? If you were at 201, is Golden the next guy off the board for you in the second round, or how are you feeling there?
Yeah, probably. And I'll tell you what, man, this is my least favorite pick. Golden, I get nervous with Golden, right? All the players we were yapping about in round 1 feel really good. This is kind of like the beginning of a different tier for me personally. I know he had that 4.29 speed, right? And I know he had good enough production. I don't think Matthew Golden is quite as good as consensus does. I love the Jordan Love aspect, right? I think that's appealing. The 2024 utilization was interesting, right? 23.9% slot snaps, 76.1% out wide snaps. And I think he's a good fit for the Packers. I get a little worried. I'm a big production guy, Casey. The fact that it took him 16 games and he still couldn't crack 1,000 yards keeps me up at night.
Yeah. Gotcha. All right. I went Trey Harris at 204. I mean, if you've been rocking with us for a while, you know, Harris has been my guy. It's a toss up for me for Harris and Golden and Higgins here. I think I like Harris the best out of those guys from just film standpoint for me personally. So I went Harris. Chev, you had the 205. Is Higgins locked in after all those guys, or does Higgins jump the line with you for any of those players that have been mentioned beforehand?
I mean, that's been pretty consistent in my startups that, Jaden Higgins is in that 2.5 to 2.7 range. He didn't move up like I thought he would, getting the 34th overall draft capital. So I'm good with Trey. I mean, I love Trey Harris. Trey Harris is my wide receiver 3 throughout the whole deal. So I personally am fine if Jaden Higgins falls to me because, I mean, he's got an excellent situation. He gets to play. It's been alluded to some of his struggles against press coverage and like some not great marks against man coverage in terms of his ability to beat press. So, I mean, he gets to learn from a true alpha X wide receiver, and he's not going to have to play that sacrificial role. So, yeah, I'm all in on Jaden Higgins right there. But, some of his deficiencies are in his price. So,
yeah. So you're pretty much like him at the 5. You would take other guys. You would take Golden and Harrison in front of him.
I would take Trey Harris over Matthew Golden. Put it like this. I'll put Matthew Golden at the back of the line.
Okay.
Of those guys right there.
Gotcha.
But I'm fine. It's never going to happen that way because people are going to get married to the draft capital and the fact that he ran a 4.29. and scoop him off. He's never going to be available at the 2.6, 2.7.
Yeah, but I like all these guys. I think you could poke holes in all of them through here, which is why I think for consensus wise, they're usually mostly back here because there's more. You can poke more holes in some of this logic of how you want to draft those guys. But I mean, you mentioned draft capital. Seems like in a lot of cases, just line them up in the capital and draft them in that order because that's apparently the only right answer. So. All right, you took Royals at 206, which is way off of I think things that make Austin tick as far as draft capital and just being a crazy producer early, all that kind of stuff. So I know we both liked the whole squad here loves Royals, but you stuck with it here at 206. Why sticking to your guns so hard there over some better draft capitals and maybe some better situations year one?
Yeah, man. Like I'll put my money where my mouth is, and I'll just come out and say I think the entire NFL whiffed on their evaluations on Jalen Royals. I really do. Here's a player who I believe really had like late round 1 draft capital, that type of talent. I thought he was going round 2, and then he falls to the very end of round 4. Right, big difference in how the NFL views him. This was a deltoid ligament sprain in his right foot during a game against New Mexico. This was mid-October, Casey, right? So this is a while back, missed 5 games. And I think that's got to be what ultimately caused Jalen Royals to fall to day 3. He declared himself fully healthy, Jalen Royals. That is, he also, I want to point out, like this injury, it was non-operative, that's a good sign, right? Yeah. I view that as a good thing. He's a Blazer. I think he could run in the high 4.3s, man. 80 to 90% healthy, I would argue. I think that's kind of his range at the combine, and he still ran a 4.42, 89th percentile. I spoke with him at the combine, man, and I don't know if nobody knows ball. That's probably accurate, but there were like 5 people max talking to Jalen Royals at the combine. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, does nobody know who this guy is? I didn't get it. It actually drove me crazy. I mean, here's a guy who was on pace for 94 receptions, over 1,400 yards, 10 touchdowns. Like that's his 12-game healthy pace. I get that we can't do it, but I'll tell you what, man, he probably would put up some numbers really close to that if he stayed healthy. And if we just go back one season prior, Casey, and Chev, sorry, Chev, I feel like I haven't been like saying your name as well. But if we just go back one additional season, Jalen Royals hit 15 touchdowns. Now he gets Patrick Mahomes. He was on pace for 29 missed tackles forced, right? That's just one shy of Luther Burden leading the nation. All right. I can keep going on, Casey. I know we got to kind of pick up the pace, but I love Jalen Royals so much, man. I think this kid's the truth. I really do.
Yeah. No, I mean we've all echoed similar sentiments. We've since we did the show. I think the last time we were all together, and you hit him with the Rashee Rice comp, and then there goes the Rashee Rice guys who landed him the first time, and the league effed around and found out the Chiefs now got a hold of Royals. So we had to wait for the capital, but maybe the skies and the gods opened up and said, "Hey, what a spot here, boys!" Like, and we might not be awesome year one, which the way that we've seen the Chiefs use rookies is kind of slow play them anyway. So by the end of year one, Hollywood's probably not long for them. I think they wanted to see what one more year with him could be like. But I think moving forward, the starting 3, this could be much like a Luther Burden situation where it's, their starting 3 are awesome. And it's just dealer's choice. Good luck covering it up. And oh, by the way, there's no questions whether or not the quarterback can facilitate 3 awesome wide receivers and putting them in the upper echelons of point scoring. So, I know people are going to dislike the value where you can take because you just don't need to take them there, but I like it, man. Get your guy. So 206, we got Royals. 207. Did you want to hop in there at all, Chev? Are you good?
No, I didn't think he was going. He did at the end. I wanted to make sure that we brought up that Austin was the first one to say, "Hey, this dude reminds me of Rashee Rice," and then him landing with the Chiefs. It's beautiful. It's beautiful stuff. So yeah, you were the first one to say that I heard say that. Then it starts popping up all over the place. So I wanted to give you your flowers as far as that goes.
Yeah, I like it. All right. I took Arroyo at 207. For me, I think they're about to use the dog crap out of Arroyo. I like the way they could use him in versatility. I like all the language around how they're talking about using Arroyo. Obviously needs to stay healthy, but I mean, we'll get to it in the fourth round there with Torrey Horton, but like they just don't have a guy like what the stuff that Arroyo can do. So I'm bullish on him. I've been all over him. I almost took Tyler Shuck here, and then obviously my guy Besh and Kyle Williams. Like I like all those guys right in this area, but I settled on Arroyo there just because I think tight end premium. And if the floodgates really open up how I think they might, and the usage of what he can do, and then we get a glimpse of what that athleticism could be like, I think he could be a favorite of a lot of people really, really quick. So Chev 208, you got Kyle Williams there. Just been your boy for a minute, so just staying true there, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have the game doesn't have to be hard. I was high on Kyle Williams for the reasons that I've alluded to a million times before on the show, so we don't have to do it right now.
I like it. So you took Tootin there, Austin, at the 206. What makes you? I think everybody else is with you here, so they're going to let you redeem yourself after that Royals pick and grabbing Tootin. But what's intriguing for you with Tootin here?
Yeah, I'm too early on him, you think?
No, I think you're right on time.
Oh, well, I mean, I'll tell you what I don't like. It's the fumbles, that's for sure, man. But you know, we the size was good enough, 5'9", 206. You know, the production was there, right? I know he technically falls into the day 3 category, barely, right? Goes 4th round, pick 2, 104th overall. This is just gonna be a really fun player to follow in OTAs, training camp. I think the pass catching ability is really appealing, right? College target share over 10%, ranked in the 80th percentile. Caught 20 plus passes in consecutive years, right? He's got that rare track speed that everybody knows. He's good at absorbing contact. He's got to hang on to the rock. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah.
He'll find himself on the bench real quick. I think he actually fumbled his first carry in practice. Not a good look, but it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Just don't do that, week 1. But I'll tell you what, I think what I find to be most appealing is kind of the new era in Jacksonville, right? I don't think that there's a very long leash on ETN, who I've been vocal about. Like I've liked ETN over the past several seasons, and Bigsby, man, I don't think he's necessarily got a very bright future in Jacksonville. So to me, it just feels like Liam Cohen kind of won out and got his guy. We'll see if he produces, but I think he's just worth the dart throw at this point.
Yeah. No, I'm fine with it there. I'm probably a hair lower on Tootin than everybody else, but I think that's right on. Everything he said is fair enough, and I think that's why people like him. At 210, I went Tyler Shuck. Look, it's a quarterback. It's super flex. He's not my favorite player, but just what he can do for you at this point, like to me, I think we're gonna see him at some point, if not the whole season this season. At some point, you're gonna see Tyler Shuck take starts for New Orleans, and if that goes a glimmer of hope, it's as a stepping stone for me. It's hard to make trades in Superflex without a quarterback, and he's somebody who I can see. I can take a stepping stone to getting myself another quarterback here with a late shot in the second round of a rookie draft. So I'm okay with that almost every single time. Chev, at 211, you take Ferguson here. I know he hasn't been your favorite guy through this whole process. You're lower on Taylor as well. So what are you liking here?
I mean, I like the draft. I like the draft capital first and foremost. I like the post-draft hype surrounding this pick for the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, they talked about potentially trying to trade back into the first round. How much of that is just, hey, we're really bullish on this guy. But I mean, he's a catch and run threat. I mean, they've been looking for someone to kind of replicate that Gerald Everett, whatever he was early in the Sean McVay offense, like be a tight end that can move. Now, he did line up in the slot 40% of the time in college. He did generate 387 yards after the catch. I mean, he eclipsed 2 yards per route run as a tight end. Like, there's enough to like that you can kind of talk yourself into it. And in a tight end premium, if he does anything, you're going to have, you've got an asset that's going to appreciate in value on your team. So that was really difficult for me to pass up. Like, I'm not going to make the game more difficult than it needs to be. He got the draft capital. He's got the play caller. Let's just see how it plays out. And I think that's going to be something that could be one that returns value. You don't always have to pick the guys that you believe in the most here. There was nobody on the board that I have to reach for right here. So it's like, all right, let me get somebody who's going to maintain value.
Yeah. No, I like it. All right, last pick here in the second round. Austin, you take Jalen Knoll. A lot of love for him pre-draft, post-draft, kind of flattened out a little bit. It didn't quite spike like I think some people thought. But, I mean, all those things that everybody was excited about are still there. So I think that's basically why you're taking the swing here at the end of the 12th, right?
Yeah, I mean, the draft, I think the landing spot probably pissed the community off the most, right? Going third round. Obviously, he goes one round later than his teammate, which is ironic, right? At Iowa State. Now they get paired up together. Jaden Higgins, that is, at the Houston Texans. So, and they're both going to be behind Nico, right? It is what it is. But 94th percentile 40 time at 4.39. He played 12 plus games in 4 straight seasons, right? The best ability, got to be availability. And Knoll was just always healthy. He was producing too, man. I mean, God, he had to earn targets at Iowa State, right? It's not like he was just lining up against anybody. I love Jaden Higgins. Actually, Chev pissed me off. Was it Chev that drafted Higgins earlier today?
Yeah.
I was just like, do I reach on him, man? Because I knew one of you two were going to take him. And I've been so high on really both Iowa State wide receivers this entire process. I didn't realize how much I like Knoll. But he's just continued to grow on me, man. I kind of get these Jaden Reed vibes a little bit. And I just think his kid's going to produce at the next level. I really believe in him. Right now we're looking at like Christian Kirk, he's going to line up in the slot, right? As the wide receiver 2/3, at least initially. But man, I'll tell you what, and I respect Christian Kirk. I think this kid could beat him out. I really do. I guess I'll just end on this. 64.8% catch rate, dipped a little bit from 2023, which was 71.7%, but still very strong. And he just, each season, his reception total increased, his yards and his touchdown, his target share. We saw that gradual improvement every single year at Iowa State for this kid. So I'm in, man. I'm in. Sign me up.
I love that.
Any closing thoughts here, Chev?
I mean, Jalen Knoll's a stud. I mean, getting him at the back of the second round feels like tremendous value. I think it's going to hit. I mean, I think that his path might be somebody's going to earn those 130 targets that are going to be missing from Tank Dell and, Stephon Diggs. So with that being said, I've gone about half and half in my portfolio, half Jaden Higgins. Then if I can't get him, I go a little bit later and get Jalen Knoll.
Yeah. I like it. I mean, again, we're at the end of the third and Besh is on the board, Milrose on the board, Mason Taylor's on the board, Scadabo's on the board. So, a lot of people who you can't cram them all into the second round. So we've just finished 2 rounds here. I think it just speaks to the depth and the fun amount of players that are in this draft. And then there's a whole bunch of backup running backs that we'll get to in the third and the fourth round here that could be league winners for you throughout the back half of this draft. So let's wrap up this one. You can catch up Austin at the Twitters at Austin Abbott 2 B's 2 T's or sorry at Austin Abbott FF 2 B's 2 T's 2 F's. Austin, what can we find over there?
Yeah, man. So I just put out the biggest project I've ever completed, right? That is my 2025 rookie draft guide. That includes, top 50 rankings. That's 50 rookie profiles, NFL combine results, advanced analytics, player comps, and so much more, man. My experience at the NFL combine. So just hope that it can provide value. So you can just go right to my Twitter account at Austin Abbott FF, right? It is the top tweet. It's pinned. I promise you will be happy that you read it.
Make sure you go check that out. Chev, what you got for us?
Oh, man, follow me on Twitter. There's a link tree. You'll find everything there. And then download the app in the App Store, and we're on Google Play. Boom. League Champ.
Make sure you check that out. Obviously, you can catch more of us. Keep it locked and loaded. Subscribe, like, comment below. We got rookie rankings, cornerstone rankings coming out, and then we'll have a little third, fourth round conversation here on another video. So appreciate you listening. We'll catch you next time. Peace.